like and subscribe to give this dog more noodles. Hey guys, this is Sinister Author back again with another video, so let's get right into the intro. I'm sorry that I haven't posted in a while. My parents told me that I have to do a month worth of homework, otherwise I would be held back a year. But now I'm back again with another video. So recently I hit 400 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy, and I want to say thank you to everyone who has been with me since the very beginning. Thank you grandma, and to these people. So today you may have noticed that I'm discussing a new topic, which is about Asta from Black Clover, and the only reason I'm doing this is because I recently started rewatching Black Clover and thought to myself what would happen if he had strong magic or mana, and that when I thought about Aokiji from One Piece. Before the story start, I'm going to give Asta two types of ice magic, which are both pure and dark ice magic. The dark ice would be able to drain people's mana and Asta can take them, while the pure ice magic can make ice golems and weapons like Grateful Buster from Fairy Tail. So without further, let's get right into the story. It all started when two baby boys were left alone in front of a church. When the guy who took care of the church took them in, he noticed that one of the boys possessed excellent amount of mana, and that his hair was as white as snow. While searching for any clue who their parents were, he discovers that their names are written on their clothes, which were Asta and Yuno. Years later, the two boys grew up to be healthy and cheerful kids. Asta has also taken a liking on one of the people from the church, which was Sister Lily. Asta often tries to show off his magic powers, which was pretty good for anyone his age, but the woman always turned his offer down. Meanwhile, the priest comes back from the town and asks someone who is very responsible and quick to deliver a certain letter to someone, to which Asta wanted to do by asking the priest to allow him, but the priest instead asks Yuno to do it, which Yuno accepted rather than letting Asta do it because he wants to be independent. After a few hours, inside the church, Asta could be seen waiting for food, but was worried that Yuno is taking too long and that something might have happened to him. Meanwhile, Sister Lily was thinking the same thing, to which she asked Asta to look for Yuno. Meanwhile, after Yuno had finished his job, a drunk man was kicked out from a pub for not having enough money to pay. With this, he sees that Yuno has an expensive looking necklace on him and decides to take it from him. Yuno tries to fight back and uses his magic, but the drunk guy tells him that if he uses his magic, he will have an excuse to use his and beat him up. While Yuno was getting robbed, Asta finally arrives and saves him from the drunk man. Asta shouts pure ice saber and creates a sword made out of ice. With this, he threatens that he will stab the drunk man if he doesn't walk away. The drunk man then says that he won't hesitate to use his own magic on a bunch of kids. Asta then smiles and quickly stabs the man on the leg. The guy then started screaming from pain and started to use his own magic, but before he could do it, Asta smiles again and quickly threw the saber at the guy and grabbed Yuno's hand before running away. After half an hour, Asta and Yuno finally arrives home, both smiling. Sister Lily then both hug them before asking about what happened. Because of this event, Yuno became cold and distant from everyone and stopped being a crybaby, while Asta vouched that he will get stronger and will protect everyone, then become the next Wizard King. With this, Asta started training his magic and physical strength inside the skull of the demon on his village. The trainings that Asta did was how fast he could create ice and even make them colder. Also, he would obviously train his body like in the original. If you're thinking, if Asta needs to train his endurance to cold, he doesn't have to, because he is technically immune to any ice attack or anything like that. Also, since I'm making Asta like Aokiji, Asta would be really tall and muscular, but still very slim, which causes people to think that he is just tall and weak. Years later again, Asta is still seen asking Sister Lily to marry him, but with Yuno telling him that it's useless and that he will never be able to convince her. Annoyed by this, Asta boasts that he will become the next Wizard King with his own magic. Their little brother then say that it's impossible for a country bumpkin orphan like them to become a king. Asta then tells him that if magic is everything in their world, That means he could do it, so Asta quickly ran to the demon skull to train his magic. After that incident, Yuno is watching Asta from afar, and with his training, and how strong he has become, since they were kids. A few weeks after that, both Yuno and Asta has finally turned 15, and are able to attend the Grimoire acceptance ceremony. With everyone there were either farmers or nobles from the kingdom. They all looked at both Asta and Yuno with disgust on how they were allowed to enter the ceremony. After announcing that everyone's grimoire would choose their own owners and cannot be taken by someone else, the grimoires around the building started to float towards everyone. While Asta was waiting for his grimoire to come to him, someone screamed as they saw Yuno receiving a 4-leaf grimoire with a bright light shining him. Everyone started to wonder at how strong he will be, since his grimoire is similar to the first Wizard King's. Waiting patiently, Asta feels an ominous strong aura coming towards him, and when he looked, it was his own grimoire. The grimoire was light blue in color with golden borders and designs. Meanwhile it had an emerald and ruby colored 4-leaf clover. Pretty much of the book was covered with frost too, symbolizing his ice magic. When Asta reaches out for his grimoire, all the nobles looked at him with shock at how strong his grimoire was. Cold filled the room and even caught the attention of Yuno. Asta walked towards Yuno and told him that with this, he would be stronger than him, and later eventually become the next Wizard King. Everyone didn't start laughing and mocking them, they instead clapped and cheered despite both of them being an orphan and country bumpkin. Side note, if you guys want me to change the grimoire back to a 5-leaf grimoire, then you can tell me on the comment below, or click on the poll. I would obviously change the demon that resides inside it too. With that aside, two nobles from the kingdom were jealous at how both Asta and Yuno took their spotlight on becoming great wizards and fame, so they later went to seek out a type of way to sabotage them. While this was happening, a strange guy was secretly watching them with an ominous plan. He walks off. Later that day, Asta was amazed from the whole experience while he hangs on top of a tree and remembers a promise he had with Yuno. As he believes that Yuno will always remember about the promise, Asta tries to dismiss it with sheer confidence when he sees Yuno walking near the ceremony's venue. Meanwhile, Yuno was ambushed by two nobles who were jealous of his grimoire and tried to use their magic on him. Yuno just quickly defeated them without using his grimoire. Suddenly a hooded figure then comes out of nowhere and used his chain magic to immobilize Yuno. With Yuno trapped, the hooded figure reveals himself as a former magic knight that became a thief. He explains that his plan is to steal Yuno's grimoire and sell it on the black market. With Yuno not able to move, Asta quickly rolls down from the mountain and kicks the thief's head. Asta then looks at the two dudes who first tried to take Yuno's grimoire and told them that he'll deal with them later. The thief then groaned that he has to fight two people at the same time, but since they are both not that experienced, he can win over both of them. Asta laughs and said that he can take out the guy with or without his grimoire. The guy laughed and quickly used his chains, but only for Asta to freeze it and quickly break it apart. Asta then runs towards the thief while saying that scums like him don't deserve magic like his own. Asta then quickly touched his head and whispered, "Ice time." The guy started screaming and asking what is happening to his body. Asta explains that he will be frozen for a few hours and that he will be arrested soon. The guy then slowly yelled that Asta was a demon. Yuno was then set free from the chains and told Asta that he didn't have to save him like that, but eventually thanked him and finally called him his own rival. The other two nobles that tried to take Yuno's grimoire just gave up on life after seeing Asta in action. After a few days, the old mage from the Grimoire Academy asked the priest of the church to meet him and congratulated both of his kid for receiving 4-leaf grimoires, which was absolutely unbelievable. He then explains that Asta's grimoire was quite different from any of the one he has seen due to it bringing out a cold eerie aura, but despite that, he wished them best. So after a week of Asta and Yuno's getting their grimoire, they both went back to training so that they can later attend the magical night exam. So we skip to 6 months later. Yuno and Asta has gotten stronger and unlocked some new spells on their grimoire. Asta and Yuno travels to the kingdom by making flying chariots using their grimoire. When they both arrives at the kingdom, Asta sees a castle over the horizon and boasts to Yuno that soon it's where he's going to live with sister Lily, but not to worry, because he will apparently even let Yuno live there with the rest of their little siblings. In this timeline, Asta doesn't eat a lizard, because he's more smarter than that, so when they got to the arena, both Asta and Yuno lines up and showed their grimoire. Yuno went first and told the worker that he is from the TEEHEE village. When he showed his own grimoire, people started to chatter about him being one of the infamous guy. Asta then walks up to the front and registers. He told them his village and showed his grimoire too. Shocked to see that another one from a poor village have a 4-leaf clover. People then started to chatter more and more again. After the sign up for the Magic Knight's entrance exam, a flock of anti-birds in the exam venues begins to harass the examinees. Yuno is left without a single one of them around him, while one anti-bad circles around Asta when he approaches his foster brother. If you guys are asking why, it's because this anti-bird is a special one. While walking away, Asta asks the bird who it was and if it was lost, but he accidentally collides with an ominous man. Confused by the presence of the man, Asta tries to lighten the mood by telling the guy that it's alright to look old while being young, even though it might be tough. The guy was the captain of the Black Bull, Yami. Yami then strangles Asta and tells him that he is quite funny and have a large amount of mana in him. One of the Black Bull members then tells Yami that they need to go. Fireworks then set off at the back and got Yami distracted as the other captains finally comes out. The leader of the best squad then introduced himself and made a giant tree that produced brooms for everyone and told them it was their first task for the exam. It's to see how well they can control their magic, with Yuno easily flying it like was walking and Asta riding it while laying down. Asta does pretty good with the rest of the exam. Towards the end, one of the captain then announced the final tasks that they are gonna do, which is a combat test. Everyone didn't want to go against Asta, but except for this one guy, the guy who was trying to get closer with him. Since the exam started, Asta then accepted the guy's request and decided to spar with him. Thinking the match would be easy and that he'll beat Asta with his own magic despite not having a 4-leaf grimoire, the guy then starts making a defensive shield made out of bronze, which he does normally in the original, but in this one, he was more careful and made 2 or 3 more layers of this. After doing that, he decides to make a lot of poison lizards to go after Asta. Some captains were kinda impressed by this and were eager to see what Asta would be back. Asta smiles and opened his grimoire to this specific page. He then smiled and whispered, "Heaven-piercing ice wall." Large wall of ice then struck and destroyed the guy's magic with ease and completely immobilized him up to the point he was begging for mercy. The ice then also nearly hit the captains, which they were really shocked, but later praised Asta for his magic. The whole crowd then started clapping for Asta and congratulated him. Towards the end of the day, the captains announces that they are going to pick people one by one to join their squad. Yuno still gets all captain wanting to pick him, and he chose Golden Dawn because it's going to be fastest way for to reach the title of Magic King. Meanwhile for Asta, all of the captain also wanted him, but because he has the personality of Aokiji, he chose Black Bull because it's one of the worst club, meaning that he won't do that much work because he's lazy and that he wanted to prove that he can be the Wizard King who started from nothing. Only reason I'm doing this is because if he ain't in Black Bull, then the story wouldn't really make sense that much. Yami then comes up to Asta and welcomes him. Asta then smiles as he feels like he had found his own type of people. That would be it for the day. I'm only doing this what if once because I wanted to experiment, but if you guys want it to be a series, tell me on the comment below or do the poll. Tomorrow or in 2 days, I would upload a what if TEEHEE video, so stay tuned for that. As always, keep calm and love yourself.